Is my screen visible, guys? So is my screen visible? Okay, I think you have, so this is a AR session, guys. Okay, so I think you have solved a lot of questions like this, right? You have solved number series, decoding, encoding. Can anyone please let me know? Okay, so I think you have solved most of these questions. So I'll be teaching you guys the questions you have missed. Okay. This is not an apti session, guys, so you won't it won't include profit loss and all. Okay, so I think you have almost solved a lot of these questions, and I just want you to test you guys. So I'm going to give you a question and just, so can you see this question? Question number 15. Okay, so I want, okay, so you can see 14 and 15, right? So did you solve these kind of questions? Okay, so I want you guys to answer this, and I want someone to unmute. After everyone answering, I want someone to unmute themselves and explain me the answer. Yeah, I see a lot of answers. I need more answers. Okay, good job, guys. I see that you're very fast. So is anyone ready to unmute themselves and explain this to me? Not just me, but your friends too. Anyone? If you just raise your hand or something, there is an option for me to ask you to unmute. Then you can unmute yourself. Rather than that, you can't unmute yourself. So is anyone ready to explain it, or should I explain myself? Okay, I'll explain it. I see a lot of answers, so that is a very good thing. Okay, so in these type of questions, yeah, guys, you guys are right. The answer is B, that is Nano. Okay, so in these type of questions, what we have to do is, the question is in a certain code language. This sentence is coded as this terms, and the other sentence is coded as these terms, and this sentence is coded as this term. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to compare two sentences and find the common word and the common word in the sentence and the common word in the terms. Okay, so by comparing the first sentence, which is this world is a crazy place, and the second sentence, which is I am from the other world, I can say that world is common in this both, right? The world is a common word in the both sentences. So in the terms, what is the common thing? The common thing. So checking on the common thing, what does word represent as? Yes, good job. So word is represented as mon. Okay. In the same way, when we check for the other two sentences, which is I am from the other world and I am not crazy, I can say that I am is a common word, right? Yes or no? So by comparing both the terms of this in the code language, we can say that Nenu is the common word. Yes or no? So judging by the question they asked, what is the coded word for I am? So I can say that Neno is the coded word, right? Is it clear? Everyone? Is it clear for everyone, or should I explain it again? So for these type of questions, what you have to do is first, there is no waiting room for this session. So I think your friends can join. Okay, so I want you guys to solve this question number 11. Can you hear me? I don't just want the answer, I also want the explanation, guys. I know you guys saw the option, the correct answer, while I was scrolling. So I want the explanation too. Okay, I think this is a bit difficult question. Yes, a few of you are right, but I don't see any explanation for the option B. Okay, so let me just explain it. So for these kind of questions, we have to take each term in each letter or each word in this term and find the logic for it. So we see the series, right? So let's take the first letters of each term and find the logic for it. The first letters are Q, S, U, and W. From this, what can we say? There is one letter missing between Q and S, which is R. One letter missing between S and T, S and U, which is P. And one letter missing between U and W, that is V, right? So for the next letter, what we have to do is we have to skip the next letter of W and we have to take the next word. So what comes after W is X. So the next term will be Y. So we got Y as our first one. So the first term is Y. Okay. After that, let's check for the other alphabets, which are F, E, D, and C. So from this, we can say that it is in descending order, right? It's just -1. They're just taking the consecutive letters of each everything, right? So after C, we can say that B is the next letter. So we got Y and B. Okay. So what we need to find is logic for 1, 2, 6, and 21. And what is the next number? right? Did you guys understand why we got Y and B? So moving on to the number series. So I'll tell you guys a little trick here. While you're solving number series, what you need to do is you'll get confused while thinking which logic you should use. So I'll recommend you guys with 3 steps. The first step you need to do is try to solve the logic with the 4 basic operations that are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay? Try to solve it with basic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay. After that, what you have to do is use the combinations of these basic operations like addition and multiplication, or multiplication and subtraction, something like that. Are you guys listening? So if these 2 cases doesn't work, what you have to do is go for squares and cubes. You know the squares and cubes of 1 to 20 numbers, right? That's the basic. And after this, you can go for using the combinations of squares and cubes with addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. No, Manogna, it is not the square of prime number. 21 and 6 are not squares of anything. Okay, so just remember this process, guys. In this, if you use this, I think you'll be able to solve the problem with much ease. Okay. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this. Okay, so moving on. So we can write one as, when we try to find the logic with basic operations and the combinations, I think we can't do it. Yes or no? Students, I want you to respond for what I am telling. So what we have to go for is squares and cubes of this logic. Okay. So for one, we can write one as anything. So let's find the logic for 2 so that we can implement it for the others too. Okay. Can we write 2 as 1 plus 1? I'm sorry. 1 into 1 plus 1. Can I write it like that? And for 6, can I write it as 2 into 2 plus 2. Can I write it like that? So once we see this, we will think that 21 will come with 3 into 3, sorry, 3 into 3 plus 3. But you're wrong, guys. 9 plus 3 is not 21. So as we can see, the number we are taking here is the previous number. Yes or no? So we took 1 here, which is the previous number, and we took 2 here, which is also the previous number. So in the same way for 21, let's take 6. And for this number, we can say that it is increasing by 1. So let's take 3 here. And the same thing goes for the previous board. So 6 square, 6 into 3 plus 3 is equals to 18 plus 3, which is 21. Yes or no? In the same way, for the next number, what we have to do is, we have to multiply 21 with what? Can anyone tell me? Yes. We multiply that with 4 and we add that with 4 again. So we get 84 plus 4, which is 88. Is it clear? So this is what you have to do when you're trying to solve an exams. Okay, first what you need to do is, when you see a series with letters and numbers including in it, try to find the logic for letters first and go for the numbers. Is it clear, everyone? So not only these questions, but you'll also have questions based on images. So let's discuss that questions. Just give me a minute. Okay. Can you see the question? So I want you to see this question and tell me the logic. Yes, I see a lot of answers. Yes, you guys are right. So as we can see the first two images here, the difference is the triangles inside the bigger triangle are inverted towards the circle. Yes, they rotated towards the circle. So in the same way, but for the third triangle, we can see that the triangles are inverted to the corners of the bigger triangle. So the next image we'll get is the triangles which are inverted inside and which are facing towards the circle. So the answer is A. Is it clear, everyone? Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next question. I think everyone understood this question, right? So look at this question and I want the same response as for the previous question as I got. I don't just want the answer. I can see that C is marked as the correct answer. I want the explanation for it. Yes, I see a lot of responses and you guys are right. So by comparing first two images, we can say that these are okay. These are not related as these have the first image has circles in it which are filled and the second image has triangles which are not filled. So we can say that the second and third images are related, right? Because there are triangles here and there are triangles here. Yes or no? So here, by comparing the first two images, we can say that the curve is rotated upside down, and also the triangles are rotated upside down and they are being filled. Yes or no? Being filled or being shaded. So in the same way, what we have to do is we have to find the same next series image for the first thing. Okay, so we can say that this is rotated. So if we rotate this, the curve will be upside down and we can't, we know that we can't rotate, even if we rotate a circle, it will be the same, right? So once we rotate the curve, the circles will be the same, but they will be not filled or not shaded. Yes or no? So we can say that by comparing the second and third image, we can find, we can say that the first image here and the third option are related. Is it clear? So I think everyone understood this question. Let's move on to the next question. I know this might be a bit unclear. So let me just draw the shapes. The shapes inside are, okay. So these are the shapes, guys. So this is the first image, and this right here is the second one. Yes. So we can see that here, the curve right here, this curve and the shaded region are moving in anti-clockwise direction. So we can say that for the next image, we'll have the curve over here and the shaded part over here, right? So after that, we can see that these both symbols are going upwards and downwards. So this symbol is this. As we can see, once the curve and the shaded part are rotated, this one is going up, and again when they rotate, this is going down. In the same way, here, this circle is also going down when it is rotated, and once again, if you rotate it, it is going up. So in the same way, here, this one is downwards. Oops. So we'll get this symbol in the upper part of the half and this symbol in the lower part. So the option is D. Is it clear? Everyone? Is it clear, everyone? Can you please respond? Let's move on to the next question. So solve this question, guys. So this is a Sudoku type of question. I think everyone of you have solved Sudoku in your childhood, right? There is no H in the box, but they have given the symbols that G, Y, T, and H should be filled. That means we know that if there is T in here, we can't write T in this line and this line. Okay. So I see a lot of questions. I know there might yes. The answer might be Y or the answer might be H. Okay. So let me just explain it. So listen while I'm explaining. So let's solve the line where there are already two box fit. So let's take this line and in here we can't write G because there is already a G, right? So let's write G over here. And the remaining symbol is H. So we get H over here. Right? In the same way when we solve this, we have T already over here. So I can say that I can write T over here. And the other thing is H, which I'm writing it here. Yes or no? So now, so there is G and E over here, and for here to solve this thing, there is C and G over here. So we might get confused. We might get confused whether to write H or Y first. So let's solve this. There is G over here, and I can say I can write G over here, and then Y here. And now there are all T and G's. So even if you keep H or Y, your answer will be right, guys. So I'm taking H over here so that I'll get Y, and then I'll get Y over here, and then the answer might be H. Okay. In the same way, if I take Y over here, then I'll get H. And I'll also get H over here. And the answer might be Y. So if you get two answers, don't just panic. So whatever answer you keep, you'll get the mark. Okay. Shall we move on to the next question? Okay. Moving on to the next question. Solve this question and we know the answer. Yes, guys. So let's solve this question. So in the same way, let's solve the one which is also which is filled with two blocks already. So we know there are M and K, and the symbols are L, N, M, and K. So the missing symbols are M and K. So let's say we have M over here, so I can't. Sorry, the missing symbols are L and M. So there is L already over here, so I can't write L here. So L, and the missing term will be N. So in the same way, in this row, we already have L, M, and N. The missing term is K. Okay. Here we have M and N already filled, and we can't write L over here because we already have L. So let's write L here, and we'll get K. Okay, is it clear till now? So in this row, N and K are already filled, and what we need are L and M. So there is already L over here, and we need to write L here, and then we get M. So while we are solving this, we can say that K is already over here, and we need K and N. So I'm writing K over here, and I get M here. So I see that in the column we need the missing term is the other three blocks. Sorry, the answer is M. Okay? Is it clear, everyone? So there is another Sudoku. If it is clear, then let's move on to the next question. We have another Sudoku. So solve this, guys. Okay, so the symbols here are root, infinite, sigma, and pi. So I can say that I can't write root over here, so I'm writing root here. And then the missing term will be infinite symbol. Okay. So after that, in the same way for this row, I can't write root over here, so I'm writing it here. And then I'll get pi over here. So the missing terms in the first row are sigma and pi. So let's solve for this one first. So I'm writing pi here. So we'll get a sigma. And the missing term here is also sigma. Already root over here. I'm writing root over here. Then I'll get sigma here. And then we'll get a infinite symbol. And the answer is pi. So this question has two answers again, which might be sigma and pi. Okay. So is it clear, everyone? So if it is clear, let's move on to the next question. So moving on to the next question. Okay, you want me to display the previous two questions? Do you want to take a screenshot or something? Chandra Teja, if you want to take the screenshot, please do it fast. Okay. So here, let's solve the first column. So we have J over here. So J, the symbols are D, J, U, and V. Sorry. So you have D, V, and J. The remaining term is U. And in the same way here, if we take J over here, we'll have V. So we have V over here, so we can't write V. Let's take V here and then we'll get D over here. So after that, here we got the three terms which are U, J, and V. The missing term is D. And we can say by here, we can't write V here because we already have V in that row. So the answer is B. So let's complete this because let's just be sure. Okay, we'll get D here and U and J over here. So is it clear? The answer is B. So these are some image interpretation questions in AR. So I think your almost AR syllabus is done. Okay, now you'll have a CP session. You don't have to leave this session. The sir will join in a minute. Okay, so everything is clear, right? Do you have any doubts in AR? Okay, so I hope you ace in your exam. Okay, so let's wait for sir.
So as you can see, there are 4 steps, that is A, B, C, D, and there is a N at the last. So we'll just go step by step. We have in A, the statement that is given is we change value in box 8. What is the value in box 8? It is 90. And then plus box 3, the value is 70. So we finally get a value of box value 160. So what does this say? Place the result in box 1. So we change the result of box 1 to 160. So this is what is done in A. This is completely what is done in A. This is completely A. Now let's come to B. What does it say? Is value in box 6. What is the value in box 6? It is 30. If is 30 greater than box 3 is 70. So this is false. As you can see in the flowchart, if it is no, it directly goes to the end. So we should not go anywhere between C and D and directly come to the end. So we only change the value of box 1 in the box that is present at the start. So now let's check the questions that were there. These models are called flowcharts. You can do it as you can see in the question. You will be given a box and a value, and then under it there will be a flowchart as given. Like you will be given different instructions like A, B, C, D, and there will be an end at the ending of the flowchart. So you have to just check how the statements are given, and also have to check what the statement is given and follow it. Now I'll just start solving this. So is the box visible to everyone now? So now I'll be sharing my screen and solving it. So please. So as you can see, there are 4 steps, that is A, B, C, D, and there is a end at the last. So we'll just go step by step. We have in A, the statement that is given is we change value in box 8. What is the value in box 8? It is 90. And then plus box 3, the value is 70. So we finally get a value of box value 160. So what does this say? Place the result in box 1. So we change the result of box 1 to 160. So this is what is done in A. This is completely what is done in A. This is completely A. Now let's come to B. What does it say? Is value in box 6. What is the value in box 6? It is 30. If is 30 greater than box 3, box 3 is 70. So this is false. As you can see in the flowchart, if it is no, it directly goes to the end. So we should not go anywhere between C and D and directly come to the end. So we only change the value of box 1 in the box that is present at the start. So now let's check the questions that were there. One. So as you can see from the we after solving, we got that the value is 160. Now we found that only the box 1 value is changed. And then later, what will be the difference between box 1 and box 2? Box 2, the value is 60. And after the flowchart, we found that the box 1 value is 160. So the difference will be 100. And the last question is, which is the highest value of all these? So we found that only box 1 value will be changing to 160, and there is no other box which has a higher value than that. So it will be box 1. So is this question clear to everyone? Okay, now I'll show one more example where you have to go inside the box. That is, if the statement goes inside, the statement becomes true and goes inside. Okay. Now, can everyone take an image or something of this? I'll start solving it after some time. Okay, so everyone has taken it down. Okay, so I'll be starting the solution for this one. Now, as I said, in the same way, we'll be having a start and an end, and there will be different tasks between them, and you will be doing one by one. The first one is K. K, it says that multiply value in box 2, that is box 2 value is 20, into box 1, that is 15. So this is 300, and place it in box 9. So we have to place this in box 9, value changes to 300. As you can see, what we have got is after the K, this value gets cancelled and it changes to 300. Okay. So now let's go to L. L, what does it say? It checks if box 4 value is greater than box 3. What is box 4? It is 30. It is greater than 25. This statement is true. So as you can see, if it is yes, it goes inside, else it goes completely to the end. Now it directly goes to M since it is true. Now what is M? It says add the value in box 8. Box 8 is 50 and box 2 is 20. It is 70. We have to place the result in box 2. So box 2 value changes to 70. Now again box 2 changes to 70, and now we are left with M. M, what does it say? Box 10 divided by box 1. Box 10 is 60 divided by box 1 is 15, that is 4. This will be placed in box 5. Box 5 is 4. So now again you can see box 5 is 4. Now let's copy the questions that were there over here. So these are the questions regarding that. Now you can see that what will be the remaining value in box 2. We found that after M, we found that the value of box 2 changes to 70. So the value is 70. And then what is the difference between box 2 and box 6? So box 2 is 70 and box 6 is 40. So the difference will be 30. The last question is, which of the following box will be having the highest remaining value? Now, as you can see, we found that the box 9 will be having a value of 300 and there is no value that is greater than 300. So the value which with the highest remaining value box is box 9. So is this question clear to everyone? So these are the common kinds of questions. I'll be showing you the remaining ones too. You can just take an image of them. Uh, they are similar and these are very easy to solve. there might be some key issues. So you have to just check if there is any issue with anything. So please try to take an image or of all these. I'll be showing the questions right now. Be some key wrong in this. So please try solving these, and as these are all these questions are similar to the way I have solved the two examples. That is, either they will be completely going to the end, or you will be going through this process, the M, N, O, and going to end, or you'll be directly going to the end. All these questions are there. You'll be getting at least one question of this sort with three questions in each of this flowchart. So please take an image. I'll be moving one by one. Okay, so I'll be going to the next question if everyone has taken this down. This is the next one. I'll a bit zoom this. Okay. So this is the next question. So these are all the questions that have come before. As you can see, all of them are of the same model. You will be given a if condition in the middle, and if it is true, you go to the next boxes, else you directly come to the end. So please try practicing these questions. These are a bit easy. You can easily score marks in this. And now I'll go to the thing called statements, these statements and arguments, and statements and implicit statements. And the common things that are there, the other ones are so any question in the flow charts? I'll be going a bit fast because we have to discuss half of the syllogisms too. So I'll do that. I'll explain either or. I'll be doing it at the end. Don't worry. As I said, I'll first complete the statements, arguments, and stuff, and I'll be coming to that at the end. As these topics are a bit easy to complete, and we can solve many of them. There will be no questions regarding that agree and disagree. You will be given questions like and there are questions like either if the statements are implicit or not will be one type of question, and the second type of questions are there will be two arguments given. You have to say if they are strong or not, and the other one will be these, as I said, the syllogisms will be the other one. Okay, like I'll be sharing this. First is statements and implicit statements. So in this kind, you will be given question with a statement given, like let's say this bakery has good food. This will be the statement given. Okay, so now you will be given two statements under it, like statement 1, there is no other bakery which makes good food. This will be one statement, and I'll be writing the second one. Statement 2 will be there might be other restaurants, other bakery, sorry, which makes good food. So based on the statement that was given over here, it only says regarding only one bakery. There is no statement mentioned regarding the bakeries that are not talked in this statement. So this statement 1 says there is no other bakery which makes good food. You can't come to this conclusion as you were not given any information regarding this in the statement. Now if I say the statement that was given was, let's say, if it was of this kind, no other bakery other than this has good food. If you are given this statement, then this statement that I have marked wrong will become true. Unless now, as I have at the start, I haven't given this statement. So this statement becomes false as there is no mention of the other bakeries, if they, how they make food or the quality of their food. So Now, the only statement that becomes true is this one. So these kind of questions, you will be given answers like which of the statement is implicit. Now you have to say only statement 2 is implicit. Okay, so I'll be showing some examples for this from the previous questions. So please try to follow for this. As I said, there might be, you're not even giving a complete conclusion. You're saying that there might be some other restaurants. Yes, implicit means like whatever you are getting from the statement, it must imply in this statement to the bottom one. Now I implicit ones. Give me a minute. Okay, try taking question number 11 down. We'll discuss it in 2 minutes. Or you can try solving it and tell me which of them are implicit and which of them are not. You can just read the statement and understand it. There is nothing related to psychometric topic. Maybe he might have seen some other paper. These questions, there are nothing related to that. Don't worry. So as most of you have mentioned, it is only option 1 is the correct answer. As I have mentioned, there is some issue with the key. The statement says the footover bridge was built at the cost of 150 crores for the safety of the pedestrians crossing the road. But most pedestrians who cross the busy road are not utilizing it and making them vulnerable to accidents. What a pity to see it gross underutilized. Now we have got this data from the statement. Now what are the assumptions? Now let's say the building of such bridges does not serve any public objective. This statement is wrong because it was built for the pedestrian safety itself. So it is the first statement is wrong. And then it is said that the pedestrians are not using the bridge as it is shoddily built. You are nowhere mentioned in the statement that the bridge was not built correctly. So both the statements are not implicit. The answer is option 1. The answer is option 1. Okay, so have you guys done the implicit statements too? Like before you have said you have done some puzzles. So this question, is it done? Question number 18. Okay, so you can see the question and you can start trying it. Okay, so as you can see that the statement says this bakery has the best red velvet cakes in the town. Now let's come to the assumptions. It says the red velvet is the best cake. Bakery makes best red velvet cakes, but never mention that it is the best cake flavor that is present. So the statement 1 is wrong. And the second one, some of the other bakeries in the town also make red velvet cakes. So it has said this bakery has the best. So it means there are some other bakeries too that are making the red velvet cakes, which might be good or bad. So only statement 2 is implicit. Okay, so this is clear. Okay, now I'll check if there is one more question regarding this. Okay, so have you done try doing question number 50. I'll be explaining it in 2 minutes. Okay, so as you can see, the statement says the school has some very rigid ideas about discipline. For instance, students are not allowed to wear their hair in ponytails, only in braids. So, as the school is very much strict about discipline and they allow only braids, it must be considered that they are a more disciplined hairstyle. The first statement is correct. And the second statement, it is nowhere mentioned regarding that it is hard to tie or easier to tie in the statement. So, we can't say anything implying this. So, only first statement is implicit. The answer is option 1. Okay, we'll check if there is one more question on this. Question number 70. Even this is easy. No, there were questions. I was searching for that. Okay, so you can see the window of this room faces south, so it remains quite warm in winter. So it doesn't say anything regarding the sun is south in the winter or anything. So we can't say the first assumption is implicit, and it says the south. The second assumption says the south facing windows enable the room to get direct sunlight. So we can find that it makes the room warm. So the south facing window, this statement is a bit implicit. So the answer is option 4 for this. Okay, so okay, so these are the common questions that you are going to get regarding the statements and implicit statements. Now I'll be discussing regarding the statement and then you'll have arguments saying if it is wrong, strong or not. Statements and strong arguments or not. So you'll be first given a statement. And then later you'll be given by 2 or 3 arguments. Based on the statement, if you feel the argument that was given is relevant or which makes the statement go strong, you'll have to say if the statement is strong or the argument is strong or not. So I'll be showing some questions even on this. You'll be given 2 statements, statement 1 and statement 2. Statement 1. You'll be given 2 statements, statement 1 and statement 2. Like these are like hints, like you'll be given a question at the top. Let's say, how many runs did Virat Kohli score? This will be the question that you'll be given. Let's say now you'll be given 2 statements as I have shown. The first statement says, let's say he has scored quarter of Sachin Tendulkar's runs. Let's say this is not true, but I'm just giving example. Okay, so you know what Sachin Tendulkar's run is, and then you can find what is the quarter of it, and you can find the answer for this. So statement 1, if you are given, you can directly find what, or let's say I'll give one more statement which says Sachin Tendulkar has scored 30k runs, say. Now you need both the statements to solve this question. That is, you have this statement which says that he has 0.25 of 1/4 of Sachin Tendulkar's runs. Now in the statement 2, you have Sachin Tendulkar has crossed 30k runs. So you need this both of the statements to solve this answer. Now let's say I'll give one more statement which says of this way. It is directly given, like he has scored 15k less than 35k runs by Sachin Tendulkar. And second statement you'll be given like he has scored 20k runs. Okay, so now each of the statement you can use singly and let them know answer this question that was given over here. So now let's solve some questions based on this. These type of questions are called, okay, don't worry, I'll be showing the screen. Okay, so you are given question 14. Is this screen visible now? Okay, please try doing question that I have been sharing on your screen. Question 14, try doing this. These are simple problems like similar to the ones that I have explained before. You'll be given a question will be asked in the start, and you'll be given 2 statements followed by it. So the statements, if the statement completely gives you the answer to this, then only statement 1 is sufficient. Or else if you need both of them, you need 1 and 2 are needed. If none of them will help you get the answer, then you have to answer neither. If at least one of them, like if you have like as I have said before, example like how many runs did he score or something of that sort. So can someone tell me what's the answer for this? While is 255. Now we have to find their individual marks. So let's go on statement 1 first. Statement 1. It says Mark and Kevin have scored 2/3 of the total marks scored by them. That is 2/3 into 255. That is 170. So from this statement, we can only find the marks of Ash. That is, Ash marks will be 85. We don't know what's the marks of these two guys. Like we know M plus K and we know M plus K plus A. That is 255. So we can only find the individual marks of Ash, and we don't have any clue or anything regarding Mark and Kevin. So we only know the sum of their marks. So this statement is not sufficient for us till now. Now let's go to statement 2. Statement 2. What does it say? The first statement in the statement says Mark scored 13 more marks than Ash. Let's say this was what was given. And then Kevin scored 26 marks less than Mark. So now we have total 3 equations, 1, 2 and 3. 3 equations and 3 unknowns. So we can find the solution for this. So this statement is sufficient. And this is not sufficient for us. So the answer for this is only statement 1 or statement 2. The answer is option 4 is correct for this. This option is only statement 1 or statement 2 is correct. The answer is option 4. Okay, so as I have said before, the statement 1 says Mark plus Kevin is 2/3 of the total marks. So you only get the marks of Ash and you will not be getting the marks of Mark and Kevin. Okay, fully. And then the second statement, you already have this statement in the question, that is Mark plus Kevin plus Ash marks is 255. So, and now you got 2 more statements. So totally you have, let's say I'll just show what's going on. So we can write A as M minus 13 from this. And then K as M minus 26. So we can find the value, we can substitute A and K from these values and find the value of M. And since A and K are only related to M, we can find all the individual values. We can find the value of A, K and M. So the statement 2 singly is sufficient for us to answer this question. Okay. Both are not needed. Since you already have an option which says only option is there in the fourth one, you don't need both. You will be sufficient with only statement 2. The answer is only, like, as you know, or statement gives if one statement is true and the other statement is false, you will get a true. Okay. Either statement is when if both of the statements singly, if you use them, and you can get the answer. Like let's say here, if they have given one more condition which says, let's say Kevin plus Ash marks is some, let's say 150 or something of that sort. Now from, if this statement was given, then you can solve this question on each you don't need two sentences at a time. You only can solve it based on one statement. So in that case, you will use either or. Either or will be used then. Okay? Is it clear? We didn't get individual marks based on the first statement. Please check. The first statement gives you marks of only A, Ash, not the Mark and Kevin. You'll be just getting to know the sum of them. Okay, so is this clear? I'll be discussing one more question on this, and let's move to the next one. Okay, so either case is taken if you have at least even one statement is sufficient. Like if this statement is sufficient and even this statement is sufficient singly, like let's say, as you can see, the before one that was there here, this was what we got. Now we have got that statement 2 is sufficient for us to solve it. Now statement 1, if I add this one more statement, if I add this statement to the initial statement that was given, then we can solve the problem that was given before with each of the statements singly. We don't need both of them, even if in both of them. So in that case, you will be using either A or B is when you can solve the question based on at least one of them. Like you can have statement 1 is sufficient and statement 2 is sufficient. In only case, if at least one of them is sufficient, you'll use only. Either is if both of them are sufficient, like if you can have A singly and B singly, and you can solve the question. But in only is if at least one of them. Okay, is it clear? Deepak? Oh. Okay, so these are the questions that are common that were given. And now I'll be going to the syllogisms part that we were discussing before. Okay, I'll show the question. Give me a minute. So please try solving this. In this, I'll be starting we have either and only. Yes, like let's say you have the statement 1 and then you have one more statement 2. So if you can solve it by statement 1, let's say statement 1 is right and statement 2 also, you can solve it singly. In this case, you can use either or. Okay, now I'll type where it comes for statement 1, and then we have one more statement 2. So okay, now if you have a case where if statement 1 is sufficient to answer, but statement 2 alone is not sufficient, and one more case is statement 1, and then we have statement 2. And one more case is if statement 1 is not sufficient alone and statement 2 is sufficient alone. In this case, you will be using only statement 1 or statement 2. Okay, if both of them are true, you will be using either or. Is it clear now? Okay, so I'll be going to syllogisms now. Please try to concentrate as you have one. So all of you, please open the flowchart that I have shared with you, the image of that. It will be very useful for you in the class that I am going to take. So now there is this case called either or. And okay, before going to that, I'll explain this thing called possibility. Now, if you are given a statement like all A are B and some B are C, and if you are given the conclusion as conclusion this possibility is mostly related to the ones with positive sentences itself. Now I'll show, let's say some A or C is a possibility. Okay, now let's draw the initial diagram that was there. All A or B, that is, let's have, okay, this is A. Okay, now we have one more, this is B. This is B, and then one more, that is some B or C. So this is C. Now this was our primary diagram. Okay, so now the question says some A or C is a possibility. Is a possibility means you can make sure you can use the help of a secondary diagram and bring this C over here, and just is a possibility means we have to make sure if at least one case is possible for it where there is an intersection between A and C. So it is possible. So for possibility questions, you have to just make sure if it is possible in any secondary diagram. We have to check if it is possible in any secondary diagram. So this is just the thing regarding possibility. There will be very less questions regarding this. You will be directly given the conclusion. Even if it is given possibility, as I said, you can use the help of a secondary diagram. First you draw the primary diagram and then check the statements which doesn't contain possibility or anything, and later you check if there is a possibility or negative statements. However, you will be drawing a secondary diagram, so you will come to a conclusion. So this statement becomes true. Okay, so is this clear? Okay, now I'll go to the either or case. Either or. So this is one of the common type of things that you're going to see in syllogisms, because let's say we have the statements are some A or B, and then some B or C are the initial statements that are given, and the conclusions are the first one is some A or C, and the second one is no A or C. Okay, now first let's draw the diagram from A, B, and then C. So this is C, this is B, this is A. So now this was our initial diagram. Now what is the conclusion one? Conclusion one is some A or C. As I have mentioned before, this is the primary diagram. So based on the primary diagram, there is no contact between A and C. There is a gap between the first statement. Now let's come to the second one. The second one is no A or C. Now, based on the primary diagram, it is true. And as I have mentioned before, this is a negative statement. Now what do? We try to take the opposite statement. Opposite statement is some A or C. Okay, now what do? We try to make sure we use the help of a secondary diagram. That is, we try moving this C over here and try proving that some A or C is true. This becomes true. So the statement that was given before, that is no A or C, is false. Now you can see that we got both of them as false. Now is this possible? Because some and no are opposite statements, as we have discussed before. Both of them are opposite statements. Okay, so for opposite statement, can both of them be same? No. So at least one of them has to be true. So in this case, you will have the answer as either 1 or 2 is true. Okay. So what happens here is some ARC we tried and we have shown it as false based on the primary diagram. And now no ARC, as it is a negative statement, we use the secondary diagram and check the validity of some ARC, that is the opposite statement, and we found that it is true. So we got the answer as both of them are false. So this is not possible. As we have discussed before, these are opposite statements. Both of them can't be of same validity or value. So at least one of them has to be true. So in this case, we use the either or case. Okay. So is this clear? Yes, in either or case, you will be always having the opposite statements. Like if I have shown you some and no, and you'll be having all and some not, or the opposite statements. Okay, I'll just show one example on this. It will be easy to solve as well. Okay, so as you can see, try doing 42, question number 42. I'll do it in 2 minutes. Yes, like as I said, if you are having two opposite statements, let's say one is a positive statement and other is a negative statement. Now, if you got both statements as false, in that case, you will use either or. Now, as I said, in this case, if if I change this question to let's say some BRC, this is some BRC and no BRC. Now, based on the primary diagram, we already have an intersection between B and C. So this becomes false. Sorry, true. So this becomes true. And the other one is obviously false. But there is a case where you will get both of them as false, as I have shown you before. That is uh, some ARC and no ARC, where you have the opposite statements and the positive statement we try to prove it false based on the primary diagram, and then later the negative statement will prove it false based on the secondary diagram. So in this case you'll use either or. Okay. Okay, so as I have shown before, this is what was there. Some ARC and no ARC is present. So since both are opposite statements, we found that either one or two is true. This is only possible for, let's say, I'll change this question, the conclusion to some BRC, and then we have one more as no BRC. Now in this case, there is already an intersection between B and C in primary diagram. And since some BRC is a positive statement, this becomes true. This becomes true, and based on the primary diagram itself, the negative statement becomes false. So as there is already an intersection between them. So in this case, there is no issue. But the case that I have discussed before, it comes both of them as false. Like we have proved some ARC as false based on the primary diagram, and no ARC as false again based on the secondary diagram. So in this case, we'll be using either or that I have mentioned over here. So is it clear? Okay, now I'll show the question. Please try looking after it. I'll discuss it. This is the final type of syllogism or common type of questions that you are going to see. And there are two more things, that is only and few or something of those. I'll explain that too. So this is the question that was given. So let's draw the primary diagram. It says some museums are stadiums. And then some stadiums are auditoriums. Some stadiums are auditoriums. I'll just type it over here. Some museums are stadiums and some stadiums are auditoriums. Okay. Now we have the last statement as all halls are auditoriums. Okay, so this is the primary diagram for this. Okay, now let's go statement by statement. First, conclusion 1. What does it say? This one, some museums are halls. Okay, we find there is no intersection between museums and halls, so this is false based on primary diagram. Okay, I'll next go to the fourth conclusion, that is again a positive one. Conclusion 4, that is all halls, all auditoriums are halls. So this is what was given. Now which we can see that some of the auditoriums are not halls, that was outside, so this statement is false again. The statement is false based on primary diagram. So now let's go to write it over here because we'll have a negative one again. Conclusion 2. What does it say? Some museums are auditoriums. Okay. So there is no intersection between museums and auditorium. So this statement is again false based on primary diagram. So now we are only left with one negative statement, that is conclusion 3. Conclusion 3 is no hall is a museum. Okay. So we know that this is a negative statement and there is no contact between halls and museums. So this is true based on primary diagram, and then later we check the opposite statement. The opposite statement is some halls are museum. Okay, now we try to draw a secondary diagram for this. Now let's copy this. Now, as I have said before, we can try to increase or decrease any size and have an intersection between museums and halls, but also we have to make sure that we stand by these statements that are given over here. We shouldn't violate these statements. So we'll go one by one. What do we want? We want some museums and halls as intersection. So let's try to increase this. Okay, I'll move this over here, and then I'll move. There is some intersection with the halls, and I'll try to get some intersection with so this I have taken it to auditorium. Now I have made a small contact. So now let's check if all the statements that were there before are working or not. What does it say? It says some museums are stadiums. There is an intersection between them. And then some stadiums are auditoriums. There is again a small intersection over here. And the third one says all halls are auditorium. There is so we found that there is the opposite statement is true based on the secondary diagram. So what does it mean? The initial statement that was there, that is false again. That is no hall is a museum is going to be false. Okay, so now again, as I have mentioned before, this is the opposite statement. That is conclusion 1 and conclusion 3 are opposite statements, and we got both of them as false. These are opposite and we got both of them are false. Since this is not possible, in this case, we use either 1 or 3 is true. Okay, is it clear? Okay, is it clear to everyone? Any doubts? Okay, now these are the most common questions. I'll show you the questions. Please try taking an image of it. These are the most common ones, and I think I didn't miss anything from the CT. I'll show the questions. Please try practicing it. And as I mentioned, there are some key errors. So try solving it with the Venn diagrams and try changing the key. Okay, so I'll show the questions one by one on this CT. So we have solved this yesterday. Take this question down, question 3, the image of it. So there are some examples regarding some bats or not, and even that. And in question number 4, the first statement is some bats are not balls. It is not some balls are not balls. Okay. The correct answer for question 3 is 1 and 4 follows itself. There is no issue with the answer. So everyone can see my screen, right? I'll explain one question on possibility. There is one going, I'll be showing the questions, right? I'll show the question that is there on possibility, and I'll explain it. Don't worry. So for question 4, this was the question that was given. So it says, as I have mentioned, only a few is same as some or not. Okay. So we'll draw the Venn diagram for this. It is, the first one is Mercury. This is Mercury. And then we have, as we know, only some or not, it will be same as some. Mercury, and this is Venus. Okay, and then it says some Venus are Earth. Okay, and again some Earth are Jupiter. Okay, so this is the primary diagram for this. Okay, now what are the statements? It says no Jupiter is Venus. First is no Jupiter is Venus. Okay, so since this is the primary diagram, and I can just move this Jupiter over here and have an intersection between both of these two. And this is a negative statement. Before there was no intersection between Venus and Jupiter. And I have made a secondary diagram and proved this statement as false. Okay, this is false. It is clear, right? The first statement, why it is false. Now let's go to the next statement. It says some Venus not being Mercury is a possibility. As I have mentioned before, it said only a few Mercury is Venus, and it is similar to some or not. That is, it can't have this part. Venus can't have this part. Okay, sorry. So we'll go one by one for this one. Some Venus is not Mercury is the one. So there is some part of Mercury that is not Venus for this. So now let's check it is true based on primary diagram. Okay. Now what do we do for this? We next go to the opposite statement. opposite statement, that is all Venus are Mercury. Okay, now what do? I just try to move this Mercury inside this, and then there is some intersection with Earth and then Jupiter. So we proved that there is a case possible where all Venus can be inside Mercury, and let's just check if the statements that are given in the question are possible or not. Let's say, what is this? This is Mercury. So only a few I have said that, some are not is same as that. So some of the Mercury part that is over here is not Venus. So we are following the statement one. Second, we are having an intersection between Venus and Earth. So even this statement is followed. And the third statement says some Earth or Jupiter. So even this statement is followed. So we proved that there is a possibility that, as I have mentioned, this is a possibility is given. So we make if the possibility is given, we show that okay, give me a minute. Okay, the possibility is the one where we have no case possible, or at least one case possible for it to be true. So we already have a case where some Venus not being Mercury is false. Like I have shown you this, that this it becomes true. The all Venus are Mercury, we have moved it inside. So we proved this statement as false. And it is not possible. We have to show in one case. Okay, is it clear this question? So even for this, the key is wrong, as I have mentioned before. It is neither one nor two follows. So any question on this? Okay, I'll repeat it. So I'll just move this diagram back. This is some of only a few Mercury is Venus, some Venus are Earth, and some Earth is Jupiter. Okay, so we found that no Jupiter is Venus. The first statement is opposite statement will be some Jupiter is Venus. So we just try to move this Venus over here and make sure we follow all the initial statements that were given. So this statement, the first statement that was there, this becomes false. And now, as I have mentioned, the possibility is the case where if at least one case is possible where there is no intersection between both of two. Like we already have a case where some Mercury is not Venus. So sorry, I have mentioned it wrong before. This statement is true because we have one case possible where Mercury and Venus are some of the part of Venus that is not Mercury over here. That is this part that is over here that I am drawing lines now. So the statement 2 becomes true and the statement 1 is false. As I have mentioned before, possibility, it is true even if one diagram is possible where the given conclusion is true. Okay, is it clear? So only conclusion 2 follows. Sorry, I have read the question wrong before. I forgot the possibility case. So do you understand it now? It mentioned very only few Mercury or Venus. It is not the opposite. You are taking only few Venus or Mercury. If that is given, you can't have the diagram that I have drawn before. Like I have moved it completely inside, right? Before, if this possibility wasn't given, does some Venus not being Mercury, is it, if this possibility statement is not given, what do? We check the opposite statement. We check the opposite statement. What is it? All Venus are Mercury. But what was the statement that was given to us? Only a few Mercury is Venus. Now, if I move it inside, there is some part of Mercury that is still not Venus. That is the outside part that is over here. Okay, we are following the first statement. Since they have said it is, they want to check if there is a possibility or not. So in that case, we already have a possibility where there is no some part of Venus, that is this part, is not Mercury. So this statement becomes true. So only conclusion 2 follows is the answer. Okay, who has asked this doubt? Sriram, is it clear? Okay, what's this question someone has asked? Yes, if it is possible directly in primary diagram, you don't have to go check the secondary diagram. A possibility means like you are going to show at least one case where it is possible. You don't have to just go based on the primary diagram itself. Okay, why don't we take opposite diagrams? Like as I have mentioned, you can take opposite diagram. In this case, we already got it in the primary diagram itself. Like already there is a case possible where some of the Venus is not Mercury. So we didn't go to the secondary diagram. Okay, is it clear? And there was one more question that was missing. Give me a minute. Pramod, your question isn't clear. Can you be more specific? Okay, Pramod, your question isn't clear. Can you be more specific on what your doubt is, please? Okay, so this question is clear to everyone? Okay, I'll show the question. Don't worry. Okay, I'm showing the question now. I'll explain it again. Don't worry. So everyone has taken down the question. Neither is not similar to either or. Either or case is possible only because we get sometimes both of the statements as false. The neither is not possible. I'll show that example. As I have been showing questions, I am going one by one. Using the opposite diagram for it. Yes, the final result is true. If you have at least one diagram where you can have the possibility as true, it is true. It doesn't have to be only in the primary diagram itself. I'll be going to that. Oh, there is one more question. Don't worry. I'll show the possibility case again. Give me a minute. Okay, it isn't there in this. Okay, take this question down. I'll explain one by one. Don't take question 8. There is a issue with the question. And take question 9. For question 9, the answer is option 2, not option 4. Okay, the question 9, the answer is option 2. Okay, I'm changing the question now. Okay, and in question 10, the third statement is only a few charger is wireless. Okay, only a few charger is wireless. And later I'll be checking if there are any more possible, and this is the one. I have tried checking most of them, but if you find any issue or anything, please try solving it once, and you can these are easy itself. If you try practicing it, even if you get new questions in the exam, it will be easy to solve for you. So try solving these questions. Okay, so the next one is we have discussed this. Okay, so take this down, the question 16. Okay, I am changing the question now. If anyone hasn't taken it down yet, please type it in the chat box. I'll wait for few more minutes. Okay, so I'm changing it. This we have done, and take this down. Okay, I don't know anything regarding the cutoff for the exam, so I can't help you with that. Like as I have mentioned, if you show at least one diagram where the statement that is given with the possibility is true, and if you follow all the statements that are given before and you draw a diagram and make sure the statement that is given with the possibility is true, it is true. Even if it is one question or one diagram or two diagrams, any number of diagrams, it is going to be true. Okay, this question, take it down. But as I have mentioned, this question has some issue. The data is not sufficient, so just try to take it down. The question, okay, just take it down till here. I'll just. Okay, I'll be going to the next question. This is the next one. Okay. option is wrong, and we have discussed this. And then, as mentioned in this question, there is ambiguity. Take this question down, but the answers are for this, for 36, the answer is option 2, not option 4. The answer is option 2. Okay. And 37, the answer is option 3. It is correct. This is the question. And we have discussed this before. So, and even this is answer 1. The option 1 is correct. For question number 40. So, and even this was already there. This is option is answer 2. So this we have discussed before. This is only conclusion 1 or 3 follows. That is option 2. So I'll be going to the next question. Okay, take this down. This is correct. The answer is option 3 itself. That is only conclusion 1 and 4 follows. As I have said, try solving it. And we have discussed this sweeping and this question before. So, and take this down. Okay, so and this. Okay, so in this I guess all the questions are done. I'll check if there are anything that are unique in this one, which we haven't discussed or something. Okay, have you taken this question down before? Please check it and let me know. I'll display the questions as one of your friend has mentioned. Since even if they are repeated, I'll be showing them. Okay, so for this, the answer is option 4 itself. And then next. Okay, as I have mentioned before, this is one more question on data sufficiency. You are given the sites, the number of sites. I'll just try to explain this later. After this, take the question down. The answer is option 2 itself. I'll explain why. And this, as you said, we have discussed this yesterday, the Charlie analyst question. And take this down. Have you checked this question before? The rooms and everything. I'll explain the Mercury Venus question. Don't worry. Take this rooms question down. If you are done this before, don't worry. I'm just showing it once again. And take this down. Okay, the answer is option 4 itself for this. For this also, this is correct. And this, the question number 67 is again data sufficiency. You can check it. Try solving this. This is easier, so don't worry. As I have mentioned before, I have explained what is the difference between either and only, and where do you use both and where neither. And this question, there is something wrong with it. Try taking question number 69. Okay, this one we have discussed before, and this also, I guess, was discussed by the sir before. Okay, and also there is one more type of question I forgot to discuss. Give me a minute. Okay, I'll explain what you want. You want me to explain six, and someone wants me to show 87. Okay. Okay, I'll explain Mercury Venus problem. Don't worry. Okay, can you explain 67? Okay, let me check what's that. Okay, 67.